Feeling territorial, or that's your lines. You'll know what to say when we get there.
You wore that sweater already.
I did? Was it the last episode?
I don't know.
Whatever. Don't matter. Whatever. I'm not dirty. I washed it.
You didn't, probably.
I did wash it. I did. This is not. Oh
Pretty
my
sure
God. I promise you it's washed. Can you stop? Okay, here we go. What's up, everybody? It's your boy, your man, your guy, your friend. No, I'm just kidding. This is Anthony Rogers. I'm here with my lovely wife,
Morgan Rogers.
and this is Great Purview podcast / YouTube video situation. We're glad that you're tuning in this week. Like always, we have a beautiful topic for those of you who may have not heard of us or seen anything before. We hope you watch, like, and subscribe to this video. But so you know what you're getting into, our podcast is basically us going through all the gray areas in our life that we experience. We're obviously an interracial couple, but we're also a blended family, but we're also Christians and we're individuals and all these other good things. And so there are a lot of gray things that we come into contact with, and we discuss them here on our podcast. We are married, and we have been married for a while. And so that's why we feel like we have something good to say. So please like, subscribe, comment. We read your comments. We love it. We are going to jump right into our topic. And our topic for today is...
Well, my husband got mad at me because I was keeping... I made all the topics, or we only talked about during the Blended Family series, step-parent stuff.
Yeah.
And so he said, well, what are some things that if what about biological parents?
I didn't say it like that.
So today we're going to talk about feeling territorial or jealous or a little controlling as the biological parent.
Right. And so the Blended Families episodes previous to this, I had all the expertise, and I felt like I was the one with all of the knowledge. And I know my wife is smart, but she just doesn't get it sometimes when it comes to being a step parent. And so maybe we could talk today about something that I don't get, or that I had to, I mean, all this stuff we had to work through, but just kind of, your raw emotion and feelings. So being territorial. So, break that down. What does that look like? What happened? Why you feel that was something that we had to work through?
Having Jaden, it was just Jaden and me for a really long time. And so I wasn't really used to somebody coming in and helping and being around every single day. And so I didn't realize it because I obviously wanted to be in a relationship and I wanted to be married to you. But I didn't know that I was going to be feeling like super territorial over Jaden. And so sometimes you would do things that made me feel some type of way.
Like what?
Like one time you took him to the movies without me with somebody else in another family, and I wasn't invited. Like that.
So, okay.
That was upsetting to me.
I get it. Okay. Let me preface it the way you said it. So, a lot of the only experience that I had prior to being married with children or a child and stuff like that had to do with people that I was either like really close with, so like maybe like my friends or like people that I considered family and stuff like that. Maybe they had a kid. A lot of times it was I wouldn't say necessarily single mothers, but it was more so like just they were taking care of the kids pretty much like by themselves on some level. And so like one of the things that I would try to do is offer like just help. So it's like I like one of the things that I felt was helpful was like, well then you can take some time off, go do what you do, and I'll watch my nephew, or I'll watch, pretty much they was mostly my nephews, But so I would watch them, and then after doing that a bunch of times, it would seem like it was helpful. And so I didn't know like how like Morgan just kind of had a different thing, and so I was doing it as a favor to her, and she saw it as like no, like you are going to like you need to invite me or something like that.
Need to invite me?
I'm not saying that I need to invite you. I was just saying it wasn't like you weren't invited. It was like letting you do your own thing.
Yeah, I just didn't know about it. So I was just so used to always being around my child all the time. And maybe this is just me. I don't know. This topic may not even help anybody because maybe it's just my problem. But I just felt like I wanted to still be involved in everything. There was nothing that I didn't know about him. I knew everything about him. I knew everything he did all day. I knew his favorite everything. I knew all of his experiences. And to me, it was like, oh my gosh, he's getting to experience something and I'm not there.
Yeah.
And like, I don't get to experience it with him.
I mean, yeah. You let me know very quick. I feel like that was maybe our first like fight. I was so confused. I mean, like I was like, haha, he-in, and there was not even there was no laugh in it at all. And I was like, because I thought it was a joke, like where it was like, you didn't even take me, and I was like, haha, you're so funny. And she was like, no, like you're not just about to be taking my son around the city and this and the other with the whole another family, and I don't even know them, and da 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 da. I mean, it was wild for me.
Okay, you made me sound really bad.
No. I mean, now I know it's just like you were his mother, and that was, I mean, up until then, you didn't have help. You didn't have like family and stuff out here, or that wasn't something that was normal for you while you were out here.
No,
Like,
I never had a babysitter. I never had like.
Right, and so it was always like, I mean, like I remember, like I was like, dang, can we do something like you and me? Like it was always like bringing Jay along and stuff like that, which I mean, now it's just kind of whatever. But it was just like, dang, like like I was like volunteering, like, hey, you can have so and so watch, and you can have so and so, or I mean, these are all my friends, but but it was like you didn't know them, and that wasn't even your style of anything, and you've lived very much like secondary to like if Jay's doing something, then my life follows. And for me, I just have always been like some of that, but more so like
he follows you.
Yeah, it's like I'm going here, you come with me and figure it out. And I think that just has something to do with like just how I was raised on some level, and then just kind of like,
I mean, apparently there are like different parenting styles.
Obviously, yeah.
And for whatever reason, it was my own insecurity. Like I feel like being a single mother, there's like a stigma attached to it, especially being a young single mother. And so I just didn't want any of those stereotypes to apply to me. I didn't want anybody to think that I was like handing them off to whoever. And I also wasn't used to him just like enjoying things without me. Like I just wanted to see his face and like just wanted to experience it. And so I had to learn that like it's okay that someone else gets to experience those things and I don't.
So I mean, so how else did you see like you being territorial over stuff? Like was it like, I mean, like schoolwork? Did you see it like picking him up from school and stuff like that? Like,
oh, are you just lobbing things?
These are just things that I'm,
Yeah, like picking him up from school or taking him to school, that was really hard for me because I felt like in some ways I was being like a bad parent by not doing those things anymore. So like and maybe this is more like a single parent going to a blended family topic, because if you're used to having somebody around, or if you have help in the house, then maybe that's not something that
would probably be like the expectation almost. It might be reversed. Like if
you better help.
Yeah.
Like why wouldn't you help?
Right.
Whereas for me, like I wanted it in theory, but practically when it came down to it, I felt like I was doing something wrong. Like I felt like I was not being a good mom. Like I felt like to accept help was not okay.
Yeah, and so I mean, like I was help, and I mean, like, and I mean, I feel like I was trying to help, and then it was like, and then I think what that kind of made me feel like was like you didn't want me to be a part of what was going on.
Yeah, no. I did want you to be a part of everything, but I still wanted to feel a part of everything.
So
I didn't want to feel like I didn't want Jaden to feel like I was distant from him because, oh, I'm in a relationship now and like I'm not spending as much time with him. And I didn't want him to think that it was because of our relationship, which I mean, it was because you were developing a relationship with him.
yeah,
And had we
right,
not been in a relationship, you wouldn't have been developing that relationship with him.
right,
So it
right.
was because we were in a relationship, but it wasn't like I was choosing you over him. And I just didn't want him to think that I was
That's what you were
choosing.
doing.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you were like a lot more conscientious on not being like a bad mother? That kind of played into like the territorialness that you had
Yeah,
like
for
around him.
me. But I think also I just am like really territorial over my people.
Yeah.
And like nobody knows them better than me. And I don't want anybody to know them better than me. And so I think, I don't know, I just want to be in all of the things, and not because I want like clout or anything, but I just want to feel close. That makes me feel close
Well, I mean,
to
like we talked about love languages and stuff the other day, or the other
some
whatever,
other
some
days.
other one of them other podcasts, and and we talked about how like one of your love languages is quality time,
Mm-hmm.
and so I mean, like I can see how you spending time with your people is what and like
If I'm not, then I feel like I'm not loving them.
yeah, wow, that's deep. So your territorialness come out of like
Love. It's healthy. I just love you really well.
okay,
But
wonderful.
also, I'm just a controlling personality too. So,
But also, I'm also controlling. It comes out of love. But I'm also controlling too. So
well, when you are the one that's doing everything for the longest time and you think that you have a certain way of doing things, and it's like, this is the way we should be doing it. And then somebody else is like, but wait, what about this? And you're like, no, that's not the way that I've been doing it for all this time. There are no other ways. This works.
so when did you feel like that started to change? Like, can you point to like a day or like a specific time? Like, was it when we
No,
got
I don't know.
married? Was it like
No, because I think it was like a problem for a while. I think it was a problem. I don't know what it is.
the way you're saying it is like I don't know if you knew, but I was still
I'm
not
still
even,
upset. Still upset. I'm mad right now. Well, I mean, I guess it kind of morphed. Like at first, it was just you doing certain things made me feel like I wasn't being a good mom. Then it was like y'all developing a relationship, and then I feel like left out, and I'm just like nobody, and I'm just like here to just like cook, and like I'm mom, but like who cares?
That's not. I mean, but I
But
remember.
that's how it felt.
Yeah, I get it. I get it because our relationship took off. It just.
Soared, which is, I mean, great. I remember being mad. I took a picture of y'all, like Jade's like laying on your back, and I took a picture. I'm like, this is my life. I'm always left out. But then somebody else commented and was like, but what a beautiful view.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's so true. Like, obviously, I mean, I relish and love the fact that y'all have such a good relationship.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But it is also like, I'm like, do you still love me?
Yeah,
Or do you
well,
only
and-
love me because I'm your mom?
Right,
Or
right. It's like,
would you love me if I would have come in and not been your biological parent? Would you still love me? Maybe you wouldn't.
I don't know the answer to that question. Okay. I know that like, because I can definitely like I've definitely felt like some of that coming off of like you feeling excluded and stuff like that, and so like, trying to figure out cross sections for us to come together as a family. So it's like, there's the things that you like, there's the things that I like, there's things that Jay like, there are things that me and Jay like, there are things that you and Jay like. You know what I'm saying? But like trying to give like a dosage of like all of those things and just kind of making them just, our family dynamic. So
Yeah, I think we're still figuring that
I
out.
mean, yeah, no, I do for sure. And I think it comes in waves too. You know what I'm saying? Like there are some waves like where it's like, dang, like man, like I feel like the outside, an outsider.
You do?
Yes, I mean there's
Oh.
sometimes when like those waves come and then we talk about it and then I think, you have your way of expressing how you feel, if you're like on the outside of the bubble or something like that. And then but I think that one of the ways that we try to tackle that is by doing things and having experiences together, whether that's like a family trip, whether that's, going to the park one day or
Doing
going,
something weird that we've never done
yeah,
before.
doing something weird, going to a different restaurant that we've never eaten at or something like that.
Going to the cat show.
Yeah, going to the cat show, bro. Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. And so yeah, stuff like that where we're just like doing different things. But I mean, so would you say, so if like you were like, if how you were before is like 100, like the territorialness and stuff like that. If that's 100, as far as being territorial, like what percentage would you say? Well, let's make it easier. Let's say if that was 10, and on a scale from 1 to 10, like 1 being like not territorial at all, 10 being like super territorial. Like where do you feel like you are right now?
Maybe like a 3. Maybe like a 0.
Yeah, okay.
No, I think that I'm naturally controlling, so it's hard for me to kind of distinguish between like being territorial because I'm feeling because of the nature of our family, or if I'm just being that way because that's how I am.
So you have to like distinguish between the two of those things?
Yeah, because I am already like wanting to be involved in stuff. Period.
Right.
So I don't know if that's just coming from my personality or if that's coming from like, oh, okay, I'm comfortable now in your role in the family and my role in the family. I feel comfortable with it. Like I'm okay. I mean, I've always been okay, like with Jaden loving somebody else. Like that makes me happy. I want him to love someone else. I want other people to love him. It doesn't upset me.
You're so much more mature than I am, man. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm mature. I'm like there. I'm getting there, but it's just like, because I'm like, I mean, like I've talked about before. It's just like I never felt like love could be shared. Like I felt like, which and it took me looking at my relationships and looking at the people that I love and care about, and being like, oh no, I would, like I eat,
You've
like
loved,
I've loved,
and you've loved evenly.
evenly. You know what I'm saying? That it's not. I mean, it's not like a big I and little you. I mean, sure there may be some people, but it's just like, like you can distribute it pretty even. Like you.
I think sometimes though, as single parents, you are so used to being somebody's everything that it's an ego blow when you realize that you can't be somebody's everything.
Wow.
And that you do, like the person, like your child needs more than just you in order to be a whole and well-rounded person. And so I think that is one of the things that I learned is that you bring something to his life that I can't, and it is good for him to have what you bring.
Yeah.
And that's only good for him. And so
It's not good for you.
Well,
what I bring is not good for you.
That's what I'm saying.
It's only good for him. It's not anyone else in the world.
I'm saying it's only good things for him. So that's not. So I shouldn't be upset about that. If my biggest concern is doing what's best for him and him being the best him that he can be.
Yeah.
And if you are a piece to that puzzle, then I should be happy about you being a piece of that puzzle and not be jealous or territorial.
Yeah, I mean it is. I mean, yeah, it is crazy because of like how like polar opposites kind of we came, where it was like me coming from the like wanting to help and like take the kids off here. I mean, like because like some of the people that I was, and wasn't a bunch. It was like maybe 2 or 3 people that like I just consistently watched their kids every now and then, just not because they asked, just because it was like they were my friends and I was trying to be helpful and let them have kind of like a day off or whatever. And it was more of like, they were at like pulling their hair and stuff like that, where it was like, and I was single by myself. I had no family or anything out here, nothing to do really. I didn't really have a bunch of friends. And so it was like, I'm not doing, I mean, if all I need to do is make sure your kids don't put their fingers in electrical sockets, like that's fine. And turn on TV and let them play. And then they fall asleep and just throw a blanket on them and go do something else. You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't like difficult for me to do it. But then trying to take that, and it was like, so I felt like I had all this practice and like how to be a good babysitter, and you're like,
Yeah, I feel
absolutely
bad
not.
because I didn't see it or receive it as you trying to be helpful, and I just didn't see it like that.
Yeah, I thought like that was just gonna give me brownie points, and it gave me no
Backfired.
brownies. They were
Wow.
sugar-free
Yeah.
brownies. They was dark, nasty chocolate brownies. But I mean, so I feel like over time that wall has come because I feel like now it's kind of flipped. Now it's like
How's it flipped?
I'm just
I don't
saying.
do anything and you do everything. Is that what you mean?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
But I do be feeling like that. Like sometimes I'm like, he's done too much. I need to do all of the things.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's just like it doesn't even cross my mind if you're comfortable or something like that. Like it'll be like oh I'm taking Jay to the park. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not even.
Well, I will be like, what?
Oh yeah, well if
Am
you
I
want
not
to,
gonna
yeah,
go?
but like I'm saying, like if you're working or something, like if I'm trying to give you a break or something like
Oh.
that, like or like whenever like he was coming to work with me and stuff like that, and it was making it easier for you to work here, and do everything that you need to do here. And
I
not have to
think
be worried
also
about
though
that.
because of the pandemic, it's like getting out of the house and allowing him to get out of the house and do something else. I'm thinking about it as what's good for him to do
Yeah.
and not really thinking about me in that scenario.
Well, I feel like that is true. I mean, it's true to form. I feel like you for sure be thinking about him. Not that I don't, but it's just like you're true to who you are, and I think that's good. I think that if anybody's listening for advice, like maybe you are, maybe you aren't, but if you are listening for advice, I think one of the things that I would say is like as a step parent, ease into it and don't assume stuff. Like I think because I don't know that we had a conversation about it. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't like,
No. What are
how
your
would you feel?
expectations surrounding?
Yeah, me taking JR. How would you feel? And I think that changes the more that your
Or
significant
like
other gets to
doing
know
bath
you.
time if they're younger, or
Oof.
like reading their bedtime story at night, or feeding them breakfast. Like there may be something that's really special
Right,
to the
right.
biological parent, and that they feel like they're they're not needed anymore if you do those things.
Yeah. And so I think you can gauge your partner, I guess. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like knowing who you're with. Like I went in with the assumption and not really knowing your style of anything. And I'm sure that was kind of early on. I would say it's probably like maybe 2 months into us like dating and something like that, maybe 2 or 3 months. It wasn't like super far into it. Like that was, like I said, that was like our first like big fight.
Yeah, I don't know.
It was a while ago, but yeah. So I
But
mean,
you don't know your partner until you know your partner.
I
So
don't.
yeah, I think you just have to have the conversation, because otherwise, sometimes I don't think I would have known that I was going to respond that way.
It was good that I just took them
No, it wasn't.
because you learned something about
No.
yourself.
If you would have asked me, I would have told you, but I would not have like thought to myself, wow, you really have issues surrounding feeling left out. I wouldn't have known that about myself. I would have known that thing was not going to make me feel good about it.
Yeah. Okay. I think that's good. And so that's my advice as a step parent. Have a question, or have have a question. Have one question in your mind and ask that one. have
It's just the one.
just the one question. Don't ask more than the one. Just the one question. But ask questions, so that way there's some clarity. And I mean that would be ultimately my advice. And then just kind of take it slow. Like don't let the expectations kind of become a mutual decision, as opposed to having an expectation and expecting the other person to follow it. Because that's why I was upset, because I was like, you're tripping. I'm here trying to help you out, trying to give you a good life, and you you just go and spit in my face. I'm out. Come on, Jay. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. What would you? Yeah, a little bit. What would you say to just biological parents in general?
If you're used to being the solo independent person with the child, recognize that being in a relationship means that you're going to have to give up some of that control to allow the other parent to have a relationship with the child.
Man, you did a really good job at that, by the way. Like, I definitely give you your credits. You do an amazing job at that. You are still hecka controlling, but you go above and beyond, and you do consider, and I see you doing it all the time. And so I definitely want to give you your flowers, because I know that you will beat yourself up, and you don't need to, because you are amazing and you do amazing things.
Thank you.
And you can follow this amazing person at
She's a Lawyer on Instagram.
Follow her on Instagram at She's a Lawyer, because she's amazing. You can follow this mediocre person. It's okay. Don't always get it right person. Jesus. I like, this has been hard. You can follow me on Instagram at Who Is Anthony, or you can follow me on Twitter at Who Is Anthony R. Okay? And then all right. Okay. So also don't forget to like and subscribe to the podcast and to our YouTube channel. So if you're listening to this on the podcast, just go ahead and subscribe. It'll let you know when we're doing videos or podcast, or if you want to watch the video, we always include the video link in the description. And if you are watching this on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button. But subscribing will allow you to get the videos and stuff first. And if you want to listen to the podcast, we'll include the podcast link in the description of this video. So we love all y'all. We thank all y'all. This has been Great Purview. I have been Anthony.
This is Morgan.
And we're so glad that you tuned in. Bless you. See you later.